Hello and welcome to News Now. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo have finally declared their assets. In a statement issued by spokesperson to the President, Garba Shehu, the Presidency said President Buhari had 30 million naira in his bank account before taking office on May the 29th, 2015, while Osinbajo had 94 million naira and $900,000 in his account. The declaration comes amid pressure from the public for the new government to do so within its first 100 days in office. Details from the asset declaration forms filed by the two leaders at the Code of Conduct Bureau also shows that the president owns 5 houses in Kaduna, Daura, Kano and Abuja, and has 2 undeveloped plots of land, one in Kano and the other in Port Harcourt. While Osinbajo owns 3 houses in Lagos and 1 in England, according to officials now, the documents submitted to the CCB, which is still being vetted, will soon be made public. Now, the SocioEconomic Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SIRAP, has commended President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo for publicly declaring their assets, saying they have set the tone for a culture of transparency in governance. The group, in a statement released by its executive director, Adetokunbo Mumuni, said both leaders have demonstrated that transparency in governance is not a mirage. The group compared the current president to his predecessor, Goodluck Jonathan, who they say failed to declare his assets despite mounted pressure from the public. SIRAP also asked the president to also publish asset declarations of their senior officials and ministers once appointed. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Rahman Adeola Ikpaye as Deputy Chief of Staff and Laolu Akande as Senior Special Assistant Media and Publicity in the Presidency. The 2 new appointees will work in the office of the Vice President. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President, Femi Adesina, said Ikpaye is the immediate past Attorney General of Lagos State. He is an alumni of the University of Lagos, while Laolu Akande graduated from the University of Ibadan in 1990 with an honors degree in history and a master's degree in communication and language arts in 1992. They have both been working with Vice President Osinbajo since the inception of the present administration. Now, keep fit, shape up, or be dealt with. That is the order Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has handed down to officers and men with pot bellies in the army, and he has given them 3 months to trim down or face the consequence. He handed down the directive at the early morning route march exercise organized by the Nigerian Army in Abuja, the Nigerian capital. Buratai, who led over 1,000 soldiers in the exercise, expressed concern over the physical fitness of the officers and men, especially as the military faces the challenge of combating terrorism. He revealed that he is keen in ensuring that all officers and men in the army are fit, gallant, and ready to protect the territorial integrity of the nation.
Don't worry.
In the middle of this month or towards the end of this month, I expected to get all your kids and dress accordingly. I want to say, well done, and we'll continue to make Nigeria proud, and indeed, to make our President Commander-in-Chief, President Muhammadu Buhari, very proud. In the evening, before you sleep, you also do some exercise. That will make you look smarter, healthier, and indeed wiser. And giving all officers and indeed all soldiers with protruded stomach to drop them by end of December this year. Otherwise, you know the procedure.
Well, that's a feat, Chief of Army Staff, and there's no question at all that Nigeria needs soldiers who are fit and very strong. Now, some Nigerian women groups have expressed concern over what they see as the neglect of women in President Buhari's recent appointment of principal officers. The women raised their concern at a news conference in Abuja on Thursday. Ebere Ifendu, who is president of one of the groups, Women in Politics Forum, said the non-inclusion of women in the appointments so far made by the present administration would hamper the country's democracy. She urged President Buhari's administration to fully implement the 35% affirmative action as contained in the National Gender Policy, among other promises made to women during his campaign. President Buhari has so far appointed 35 principal officers, with the only woman being Amina Zakari, who is the acting chairperson of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The presidency has slammed the People's Democratic Party, telling it to stop distracting President Muhammadu Buhari with what it describes as frivolous and unfounded allegations of selectivity in the war against corruption. Reacting to claims by Olisa Metu, the spokesperson of the PDP, the presidency said, contrary to the opposition party's allegations, President Buhari has not and would not shy away or shield anyone, I should say, or any APC government official from facing prosecution for corruption. Presidential spokesperson Garba Shehu explained that since President Buhari came into office, he's never told the EFCC not to touch any APC governor because they belong to the same party. He challenged the PDP to produce any evidence or instance when President Buhari interfered in the activities of the EFCC by telling them who to prosecute and who to shield from prosecution. Nigeria's Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase has put a ban on the use of commercial vehicles for operations and patrol duties by police officers. The order was given in a statement issued Thursday by the Force Public Relations Officer and Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police, Olabisi Kolawole. The statement explains that the IGP's decision was in response to complaints by members of the public, adding that the directive had been circulated to all police formations and commands across the country. It also warned that the abuse of the directive by any police unit would attract severe sanctions. We'll take a short break now. News now. We'll be right back.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching the Funny White Man Show, which is the biggest, the brightest, and the most entertaining show in Africa.
Funny white man, but this way you talk, it's too much. Give me 5,000 man that you. It's too much. So you get it like, when she move along the street, yeah, me should like that, I'm going girl. You know, my own people, actually. Yeah, fine, it's fun. I enjoy it. And I'm one of those very few.
I'm forever taking it personal. I will listen 160 million Nigerians are corrupt. How? Brother, I'm looking for you.
Yeah, but it's a growth, and this is the time to build business. I know the pitfalls, I know what to do and what not to do. But there are months where you get business and months.
You know how we do, how we train them. We do the way you do.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching Trending Matters on the Funny White Man Show. Of course, we will bring you trending issues just to entertain and tickle your fancy.
Welcome back. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has issued a 90-day ultimatum to the management of Warri Refining and Petrochemicals Company to commence full production at the facility. Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Ibe Kachuku, in a press statement issued by the corporation spokesperson, Ohialegwe, urged the management to ensure that the plant is streamed back to full service within the projected period. Kachuku gave the ultimatum at the end of a facility tour of the refinery and the adjoining pipelines and products marketing company Jetty and Depot in Warri. The GMD said he was ready to provide the management of the facility the necessary support to enable it meet the fast-track target. The 37-year-old refinery, which has the capacity to process 125,000 barrels of crude oil per day, has been undergoing phased rehabilitation exercise. The refinery was shut down last week due to some technical hitches in one of its units. Nigeria plans to borrow 814.78 billion naira in treasury bills between September 17th to December 3rd. The central bank has said, it actually said that on Friday. The bank said it would auction 215.14 billion naira worth of the 3-month paper now, 193.64 billion in the 6-month debt and 406 billion worth of 1-year paper. The total debt proposed for the fourth quarter is 6.66% short of the 872.96 billion raised in the second quarter of the year, the data released by the bank showed. Now, oil prices fell on Friday, pushing benchmark North Sea Brent crude down towards $50 a barrel. This comes after a cut in European growth forecast, heightened worries over the outlook for demand at a time of huge oversupply. Brent crude for October was down 20 cents a barrel at $58.48 after touching an intraday low of $49.68. Now, while U.S. crude was down 20 cents at $46.55 a barrel, prices briefly traded in positive territory following lower than expected U.S. job growth data, but resumed their downward trend shortly after. Ebola's recent reappearance in Liberia is over, the World Health Organization said, prompting the group to declare the country free of the deadly virus for the second time this year. Liberia, one of 3 West African nations ravaged by an outbreak that has killed more than 11,000 people in nearly 2 years, initially was declared Ebola-free on May the 9th, but a teen who lived near a Liberian airport contracted the virus and died in late June. That's a total of 6 cases were actually discovered in the country from late June to July. 2 people, including the teen, died, the WHO said. Because 42 days have passed since the last infected person tested clear for the disease, the WHO said it could now declare Liberia free of Ebola. Now, 42 days represents 2 maximum incubation periods. More than 4,800 of the 10,666 people who contracted the hemorrhagic fever in Liberia died since that country's first case was reported in late March 2014. Well, let's just hope it doesn't come back to Liberia again. Alejandro Maldonado has taken over from Otto Perez Molina as the president of Guatemala. The former judge who became the vice president in May was sworn in as the president by the country's Congress late Thursday. Now, Guatemala's former president Otto Perez Molina, a former military commander, tendered his resignation following a series of corruption charges leveled against him. On Tuesday, Congress stripped him of his immunity from prosecution, which opened the way for criminal charges to be brought against him. He has denied any wrongdoing. The 64-year-old is now in custody in the Matamoros jail in Guatemala City under orders of George Miguel Angel Galvez. The country is scheduled to hold presidential elections on Sunday. To Africa now, the Tanzanian Football Federation, TFF, has reported the Nigerian Football Federation to the Confederation of African Football for failing to cooperate with them during their trip to Tanzania. In a letter sent to CAF, the TFF absolved itself of any blame should anything happen to the Nigerian contingent in Tanzania, as it says the NFF has kept them in the dark about their location. The AFCON qualifier between Nigeria and Tanzania is the first meeting between the 2 nations at the senior level since December 1980. It will be Sunday Olise's first game in charge of the Super Eagles since his appointment in July. The match will be played on Saturday, September the 5th by 2:30 p.m. local time. Well, let's just hope we beat the Tanzanians in spite of this, this brouhaha over the location of the Super Eagles. Now, Chelsea manager Jose Mourinho has been indicted, or has actually been inducted into the 2016 Guinness Book of Records following his achievements with Porto, Chelsea, Inter Milan and Real Madrid. The coach has come under pressure in the opening month of the Premier League following his team's poor start in the season. This recent achievement will come as a welcome relief to him. He was recognized for most points in a Premier League season, most Champions League won at different clubs, youngest manager to reach 100 Champions League games, and most games unbeaten at home in the Premier League. Other football greats recognized are Yaya Toure, Lampard, that's Frank Lampard now, Lionel Messi, and Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, we say big congratulations to the special one. He's a special man, and of course he'll continue to churn out wonderful, wonderful records. We just believe that we're still going to see Mourinho break several Guinness Book of World Records in the days and years to come. Well, that's it in News Now for now. We thank you very much for watching. Continue to stay tuned to TV360.